Might come on can give people anxiety. Don't let it give you anxiety. Go to carshield.com. You can get 10% off a policy, a warranty. Carshield.com, code HERD. A deductible may apply. Chris Sims next hour. Levante David, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer linebacker. Many believe he's the best linebacker in football. Is going to be on the show today. Matthew McConaughey, the actor, is going to be on the show today. He's been in sports movies. He is at the University of Texas. He's kind of driving their new basketball facility and the cultural facility.
Huge Texas fan.
Huge Texas fan. He grew up in the state of Texas, but he was a Washington football team fan. So it's Kevin Durant, you think to yourself, oh, he's from D.C., then he goes to Texas, then it's Seattle, down to Golden State, Brooklyn. After a while, I'm not sure you're from anywhere. Like Kevin Durant's moved so much. You and I have moved so much in our life. There are cities that I like more, but like, people, where are you from? Here?
It starts to become a blur after a while.
My life's a blur. I've just been everywhere. So this is a fascinating weekend. So after this weekend, two reasons it's fascinating. After this weekend, we're halfway through the season. And then after this weekend, if you're bad, Tuesday's the trading deadline. You can just say, hey, we're starting over. Let's get picks. Let's get rid of some really good players, but expensive. So after this, I think here's where we are in the NFL. There's three groups of teams now. So the first group is, we all kind of admit this, most of them, I call it my Super Bowl bubble. 8 teams every year since I was a kid feel like they can win the Super Bowl. Now, Green Bay, Seattle, Tampa, and the Rams in the NFC. I like the Rams more than you do. And then the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Titans, and the Ravens. The second group is too darn talented not to be in playoff contention. Niners, Saints, Bills, Dolphins, Raiders, Lions, Cardinals, Bears, Browns, Colts, Eagles, Chargers. They either have the coach and the players, the quarterback, but they're going to be around for the next couple of months, banging around for a chance at the playoffs. And then prepping for the draft, 12 teams. Jets, Patriots, Bengals, Texans, Jags, Broncos, Washington, Giants, Vikings, Panthers, Cowboys. Now, 2 of those teams, the Texans and the Broncos, have a lot of good players. Let me talk about Denver for a second. This is what's fascinating about Denver. So they're 2-4, and I like them this weekend. But if they lose, if Denver goes to 2-5, because they've got 6 or 7 really talented players, if Denver lost this week, there's a new reality for John Elway, who runs the franchise. So John knows, I got to win this division. I got to beat Patrick Mahomes. I play him twice a year. I got to face Derek Carr. He's pretty good, too, twice a year. But now John Elway says, I got to face Justin Herbert twice a year. He looks like a star. So if the Broncos lose this weekend and go 2-5, Mahomes twice, Carr twice, Justin Herbert twice. No thank you. Do you move off Drew Lock? Do you say to yourself, we're trading pieces, we're getting picks, we're losing games, I'm getting one of these 3 quarterbacks? Now, it sounds ridiculous, and I think Drew Lock is talented, but Justin Herbert is so good. You're like, there are times, was Mahomes this good in his first couple games? Whoa. So Denver's a really interesting team. Does Elway wake up if they lost this weekend? Not saying they would. If they lost, you're 2-5, trading deadline, and you got some good players. You've got some good players in Denver, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to move a couple of them. I'm going to lose more games. I'm going to get better draft picks. That'll be fascinating to me. What do you do with Drew Lock? Because he's one of those right now, you think there's something there, but you're not sure. You only got one more game to make a decision on that, to move some pieces. Interesting place to be for them. Something else quickly. We were talking about this. The Dallas Cowboys play the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. And this is one of the things that I've even when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, this was something that was obvious to me, that you want your team to win, but there are these rare years where you root against your team to get something. Years ago, I remember I was at the other network arguing with Colt fans when I used to take phone calls. Lose to get Andrew Luck. You cannot, as a fan. Yes, you can. You want to get your next Peyton Manning. This is obvious, right? And I've always said fans are 50-50. 50% of fans you would not want to bump into at a rest area. Like they're just not, they're just breathing, walking, talking, chewing gum. They can't do it. And there's a 50% of fans that are just, they get the bigger picture. there were fans in Cleveland. I argued with him. I mean, when I used to take calls, you can't lose to get LeBron. I'm like, yes, you can. Like, there are these unique players. And so Dallas does not need a quarterback. They're going to go with Dak going forward. But John Goulet and we talked about this earlier. If I'm Dallas, the worst thing you can do this weekend is win with a backup, and Jerry Jones thinks, how about them Cowboys? No. You want Dallas to go out and get absolutely boat raced and humiliated, and it's against a rival. Do you know how angry Jerry was losing to the Washington football team? And it was like humiliating. 2 days later, he was yelling at Dallas radio hosts on the air. So this is another division rival. Here come the Eagles, even a bigger rival last decade. Just get toasted by him. If you're a Cowboy fan, 40-6. That's when, my bad, 50-0. Jerry flies back in his Gulfstream, and he's like, I'm firing the coach. I'm trading Amari Cooper. I'm trading DeMarcus Lawrence. It's exactly what you should do. It's not to get a quarterback, but it's to get picks. You are in a rebuild. You're going to keep Dak. You're going to keep Zeke. After that, start moving one or two of your receivers. I'd keep Jalen Smith, but I would think about DeMarcus Lawrence. You're paying him a lot. He's not very productive. He's a good player. But that only happens if Jerry gets humiliated, because Jerry tends to be, and I was told this years ago by a really, really, really smart guy, a very, very successful guy, and he said, it's hard to be cynical and a billionaire. He goes, to be a billionaire, you have to be optimistic. You have to be a glass half full, because business is so hard. And if you build an empire, there's so many bad days and so many obstacles and so many crazy moments. You can literally talk yourself out of succeeding. You have to be eternally optimistic. And Jerry is. I mean, he was a wildcatter. He was a guy that went seeking oil, where you strike out 95% of the times. It's that 5% where you can think you can strike it rich that keeps you going back to the oil fields. Jerry's an optimist. You have to lose so badly that even an optimist goes, this is unfixable. This is terrible. I literally have to get rid of the coach. And the only way that happens is that the Washington game, it happens again, but worse. So you go out as you're a Dallas fan and you just get 40-6. 40-6. You get on that Gulfstream, you're like, Steven, give me my tumbler. I can't take this. I'm not doing this again. And Steven goes, Dad, Amari Cooper to the Green Bay Packers. Dad, DeMarcus Lawrence to the Seahawks. That's what sometimes you have to have it. So, John, what are you hoping for this weekend?
40-6.
Joy's the one. She knows the Tua thing's big picture. That's the way it works.
Thanks for Tua.
That's right. All right, Blazing 5 next.